All right, good morning, everyone. Michael, when he first contacted me to talk about sharing the United story, I was really excited. I didn't know I was going to be the first one out on Monday morning this early, but my wallet and liver thanks you, Michael, so appreciate that. The other thing, I kind of wanted to say too is I saw Carl backstage, and it was great to see him. We've been coming to this meeting for over a decade now, and from what I've always remembered with Carl was there was one thing I always took from it from day one was own the customer experience. And I think that's what we're talking about today. It's just how we're doing it is so much more advanced. We've come so far as a company and through the tools that Calix has offered us. Like I said, it's been 10 years in the making. What's the saying? An overnight success it takes about a decade, so that's kind of where we've been. So anyway, just a little bit to go ahead and talk about United. We're a subsidiary of United Electric Co-op, which is a very small electric co-op. We're located in Northwest Missouri, just north of Kansas City. You can see there we have 7,500 electric co-op members, about 10,000 meters. So not at 2.5 meters per mile, not exactly the place you would look to build fiber to the home. When we started on this journey, it was about covering some of the areas we had dabbled in: satellite internet, wireless internet, and some different services, but we knew that was never really going to fit the bill and really provide the service we wanted. So in 2010, we applied for ARRA money, back at that time, the Reinvestment Act, and we were awarded $21 million. And we're like, uh-oh, now we got the money, what do we do with it? How do we do this? So we started off building. Like I said, it's been one of those things that we started off small. We were basically going to cover 5,000 homes of our rural area that 90%, we'd done a survey, did not have access to 4x1 service. So that's kind of where we started. I'd like to say we had this vision to grow like we have, but that really wasn't the case. It was simply on that basis to serve our members, which is really at the heart of all electric co-ops. That's what we're there for, is to improve the rural way of life. And so our missions they sound a little bit different, but that's at the heart of what it really is. So this is our why. This is why we got into it. This is where we started. Come full circle. Over that time, we continue to get additional funding, CAF, RDOF, other areas, working with our state. We've been able to get about $60 million to help bring high-speed fiber broadband, world-class broadband, to some of the most rural areas in Northwest Missouri. We've also, in the meantime, built about 45 communities. This is something that as soon as we started back in 2013, turning up our first customer, we got approached by the local healthcare provider that wanted us to build 13 of their buildings in a town near us. We also got approached by multiple communities. We started off with 2 communities, and we saw the success early. Our board was very proactive. They said, hey, this is working. As a financial picture, our co-op was not in a good spot. We were, again, with almost 4,000 miles of line and 7,500 members. That's not your best economic outlook. So we've done this. We've utilized not just the funding, but we've also utilized what we've brought from those communities from a revenue standpoint to help push out further into our rural markets. So it's really been a win-win. And also for those communities, which many had really no service in our area. So it's been, I can't think of what COVID would have been like had we not had the opportunity to get this network in and be a little bit more advanced than where we had been. So it would have been a bad picture, I think. So here's our pillars. Here's what we do. It's like our focus, first and foremost, is investing local, whether that's in employees, locations, whatever it is. We have a few pictures of some of our offices here. We've extended that culture of member service, which we're owned by our members, into what we do on the broadband side. And it's really struck a chord with our local communities, and they came after us to come in, which is a nice place to be. And so you see a few things here. Like I said, you see those. I have a shameless Chiefs picture in there too for those of you. So yeah, there we go. So we did sponsor Chiefs training camp, and Michael, next year I want to make sure that Smart Town is there for those, what's hopefully 4-time world champions, for those thousands of people that come into St. Joe, Missouri, which we're actually building right now every year. So we're excited about that. So talking about our residential market, what's been our game plan? We've tried to create a very repeatable process from the beginning, and it's really pretty simple. We start with a grassroots effort. We talk to our communities first. We go in, we meet with the mayor, we meet with the city manager, we meet with the city council. Very importantly, meet with the guys that are giving you the permits. That's always important. So we get that part taken care of, and we build that relationship and we build that excitement. We talk about the advantages of fiber. We talk about being local, that every decision that we make is made in Savannah, Missouri, which is right there. There's no other corporate office. There's nowhere else for those decisions to go. So that's really resonated. We follow that same game plan, and obviously it's been very successful. Michael was talking about the take rates that a lot of us get, and we've seen in these competitive communities, which is usually copper, cable providers, that we've gotten 60 and 70% take rates in these communities. So we're very excited by the results, and that's really driving our success throughout our whole market. Again, from our pillars, we start local. We look at customer service, and with what Calix provides, that's where our innovation comes from. We'll go a little further into this. So like I said, we hire our CSRs, our field services, techs, all those folks are local. So they automatically have a passion. They've seen what this has done for our communities. They've seen what it's done for our rural markets. They're fully invested. I have a big group here today, and really they've been the cornerstone of the success of our organization. We also, as I've said, we are very involved in our communities, whether that's local office. We've somewhat decentralized our customer care. We've tried to make it where there's an office within 20 miles of every customer, which is a little bit unique. While the other big providers are closing shop, we're opening new ones. So we think that's going to be a big advantage for us moving forward. The other thing that I want to talk about under the customer service side is training. This is probably the area that we found out we were weak on. We thought we were doing a good job. We would bring a new customer care rep. They would sit with another customer care rep and learn, the business. We'd do the same thing with our field techs. We did a survey of our employees, and it came back that's like, we don't feel we're being trained. We feel like we're being thrown in, and with the pace we're doing, they were being thrown to the wolves somewhat. So we invested in a trainer to come in, and working with the different tools that Calix offers us with some of our other providers, I would say that's come full circle in the last year. We've noticed some marked improvement, much higher satisfaction with our employees internally, which equates to how much satisfaction our customers are going to have when they talk to those folks. We also have invested with our NPS scores. We talk a lot about NPS. We measure those not just on our new customers. We've been in this for over 10 years. We measure the first customers, which are always in the 80s. Very good, right? You measure the ones that have an anniversary, that have something else going on, and those are usually in the 70s. We also measure if they just had a service call, which those folks are typically unhappy, right, when they call in. Those are in the 60s. Not only that, we're getting the most important feedback, which is comments on those, and then we have a person dedicated to doing nothing but following back up with those customers that have put a comment on our monthly survey. So we feel that's really done a lot for us. So again, at the end of it, on the innovation side, the foundation is all the services that Michael was just talking about, the platform. For those of you that have been around for a long time, you know how much better a GigaSpire is. We still have thousands of the older equipment in the field that we're looking to replace, but we know how much that improves the service, and then really, as far as owning that experience, all the different wireless components that we're adding on is going to help us all through the different services that we offer and the different customers we serve. So we talked about St. Joe. I showed that training camp photo. When we started off, this community is about 80,000, about 35,000 passings just a few miles south of us, but we never felt comfortable taking this on until about 2 years ago. We had started looking at this. We had about 50,000+ passings at the time, and like I said, with 35,000 passings with our board and the financial impact that this was going to have and the finances it was going to take to build it was pretty daunting, but we finally felt like we got to the place that we could do it. The first call was to Calix, because we talked with Matt and his team. Like I said, we've had this blueprint that we felt was pretty good, but this was bigger than anything we'd ever experienced before. There's other providers like Allo and others that you saw, the great providers you've seen on the screen today. It's like, what is everybody else doing right? I think that's the best thing about coming to these meetings is talking to the other providers, learning ideas, and we're always continuously improving on seeing how we can make ourselves better. So excited to say that we started this project off. We had over 3,000 signups in the first 3 weeks. We're about 50% complete with the project right now, and we're seeing take rates that are exceeding our expectations, but I think it all comes back to that same messaging. Really, the messaging is the same. Local, best experience, and like I said, now it's the fact that with all of us, our reputation kind of precedes us as well, because they wanted us. We were getting multiple hits on our website every day coming in saying, you've got to come to St. Joe. So we've done it, it's a big change for us, and we're excited about where this is going to take us. So obviously the passion is there. What we got in this business for, our why, was to basically get broadband service out to our members and to the region. But it's also good to make a little money in the meantime. So we've seen a dramatic increase. When we first got into this business, those 5,000 homes that I said were about 2.5 meters per mile, they projected a 12-year break even for us on that. Most companies would not do that. Co-ops take a longer term approach. It's a different look. We were able to move that by the investment we made in those communities, and with those business services, we pulled that up to 4 years at the time. Since then, back before this project, we were having trouble even paying capital credits to our members. It was becoming pretty dire. We were the highest rate co-op in the state of Missouri. Since then, over the last 5 years, we've given back over $9 million through rate discounts, advanced capital credits, and 2015, as you see there, was our last rate increase, which is kind of unheard of in the electric market, especially in ours. So that's really, first of all, we all have to survive. And like I said, this has done great things, not just for the area, but it's done great things and really changed the whole trajectory of the co-op. So where do we go from here? We just went over 32,000 subscribers. We're growing 800 to 1,000 subscribers a month, and we still want to be aggressive. We still think there's a huge advantage to be in first fiber, which we've been fortunate to be in most of the areas that we're in. So we're going to grow aggressively. We hope to be to 50,000 plus customers over the next 18 months. And really that has to do with the services and the capabilities that we're seeing here. We think we can be the choice for everyone in our market. Like I said, that foundation's the equipment. The managed services are the piece that's going to differentiate us in those markets, especially as we get in that North Kansas City area with more competitive environments. So basically marrying our customer service to the services that Calix offers is our winning strategy. That's going to help us be a giant.
Let's give him a big round of applause. Like, friggin' awesome, right? You look at what you did. So you said, in 2015, you were the highest rates, you were in dire financial situations, and then since then, over the last 5 years, you've given $9 million back. Right. How has that changed the community?
Well, it's just, for our membership, first and foremost, it's kept rates down. And typically for your electric memberships, those are some of the highest poverty areas in the country.
Right.
So it's been a huge impact. And I can speak to that because I know these people, and we know, how much benefit that's been to them.
They don't have the money to pay for it, and now you're helping them out.
Right. And not only that, but it's also, we don't serve hardly any communities electrically, but our members shop there, they educate there, they get their health care there. So it's been really a win-win situation. Like I said, it's really brought the whole prosperity, the whole region has really come up
at the level.
To speed. Right.
So. Well, and you did BARC, so maybe you could share what you did for employees and why you did it.
Well, to me, BARC's an easy one, right? With our mission, the things we do, taking care of our communities, it's a natural fit. We all have kids. I have a senior in high school. I have a junior in college, and we've seen this impact on so many kids. On what cyberbullying and the other things that we've talked about done. So it's really a no-brainer. We actually hired one of our marketing people from a local school who had done BARC in the school, and she's spearheading this program. So it's like I said, we've had numerous meetings with our counselors, our superintendents, things like that, and really just trying to make this available in the community. It's not a moneymaker for us. It's just really advancing our mission and advancing that community spirit.
Doing good, so they know your brand.
That's right.
And from us, what do you want from us? Continuous innovation.
Well, yeah, that's always good, right? So the one thing I'll say is I was really intrigued by the home piece of it, because we're seeing a lot of sprawl from Kansas City. We're seeing a lot of growth, and these people are professionals. They're working in Kansas City. So I think the more we can make that home worker, that home automation, making that better, making that more solid for those people, I think that's really where we see a big benefit moving forward.
Well, thank you for letting us be your partner. Let's give him a big round of applause. Thanks, Darren. Incredible. And look at his goals. 32,000, going to go to 50,000 over the next 18 months. He's setting big goals and he's making it happen. And you hear how he's impacting that community. And the reason why is because as we continue to expand this platform, you heard the things that are important. So as we go forward over the coming months, we're going to see from us the first one. You've asked us over and over again, make it simple to install a GigaSpire. Make it simple on some of my legacy systems, GigaCenters, to do a quick upgrade. And in November, you're going to see all that come out. It's in pilot with a ton of customers to make your lives way simpler, whether you're allowing a self-install or a white glove. But we want to help you be efficient, reduce those truck rolls, get your customers going quickly. You know, and look at this portfolio. Anyone who says that we don't have the best portfolio in the market, over 15 systems, going over 20, you know, we've done Wi-Fi 6E, we're going to Wi-Fi 7. You're going to continue to see from us additional systems as we identify the use cases that are important to you in all the different areas to make sure your customers are successful. Now let's go back to that supposed storm-ready innovation that I heard all of you chuckle about when we mentioned battery backup. So if you look at all of the GigaSpire systems, every single one of these, other than the U4 on the end, they all have the plug in the back because you've been doing battery backup for a real long time. But we're proud to say that Home Office IQ is now launching, and the value of that product is this is the power of a platform. We took the capabilities from the small business, which allows a wireless failover, so all of those systems can do it. If the fiber network goes out, you have a storm, something like that, it can easily fail over, and it'll kick off, you know, the Xbox and things like that, allow a Zoom call to continue on, as we saw with Jerry's video at the start, and make it so that home office worker can keep working, and then when it comes back up, it'll automatically flip back. That's technology you would normally get in an enterprise class scenario, in small business, and we've made it available to the home. By the way, it's just part of your existing contracts. You're going to be able to put it and use it as you think is appropriate to make your customers better. And look, I'm going to come back to Bark. Bark is important. If you have a mission like Darren talked about, which is make my community better, I can think of nothing more important than to help kids. And who better to talk about it than someone who has kids, his children, you saw them in our videos. Let's hear from Jerry.
As a comedian, I laugh a lot. But cyberbullying is no laughing matter, and no child should have to face it. As the dad of 3 grade kids, I'm concerned about how pervasive cyberbullying is and just how many kids are being affected by it. Did you know that among kids between 10 and 18 years old, 1 in 5 have been cyberbullied? And they are most likely to be bullied on popular social channels like Snapchat, TikTok, and Instagram. Worst part, the older they get, the higher their chance of being bullied. Thankfully, your community is doing something about it. Your local broadband service provider offers this. It's called Bark. Bark monitors communication across all the major social platforms, texts, and emails. It alerts parents when signs of depression, violence, or inappropriate sexual content appear, giving you the chance to have the conversation many kids, and frankly parents, are too scared to start. Join me, contact your service provider, and get Bark today.
Thanks, Jerry. So, as Matt said, we have the activation program. All of this content is available to you to leverage. And as you saw, the United Fiber brand was on it. This is how we're going to help you get into market really quickly to help those kids and let the teachers and the parents know that you care and that you can do great things with them to help kids. So the next giant steps higher is Smart Town. And I'd like to invite to the stage Brad Moline, who's going to walk through how his team is going to the next layer. Welcome, Brad.